Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by Nate Weitzer. He's on the East Coast. And we are looking at Friday's NBA slate here. After a little one on Thursday, got a nice slate of games for you guys today. Going to be looking at best bets in this episode. Also got play of props up in the other one. So make sure to subscribe to that page and continue to follow along all season with us. Also want to let you know about the BetMGM partnership, an exclusive deal for new customers that don't yet have a BetMGM account. Go ahead and sign up using the code LINESYT50. Get yourself a no sweat bet there. You get insurance essentially, right? You get those bonus bets back up to $1,500 if your first bet misses. Plus you get $50 regardless. And they just deposit that into your account for you. So go ahead and use that code there to get all of those perks at BetMGM if you don't yet have an account. Nate, let's go ahead and get into your best bet here for Friday.
Yeah, I got Bucks Knicks over 223. I thought, it was 225.5 when I liked it initially, and saw it goes down 2 points. So hit it again this morning because I think there's just a misconception that these are last year's Knicks or your slightly older brother's Knicks. That is not the case. They have no real rim protection with Karl-Anthony Towns at the 5. They have really good pieces in OG and Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart, but it's a work in progress, learning how to play together, right? I mean, we've seen that with the Wolves to a degree, too, integrating some new pieces after this big shakeup. And just the results have not really been there. I mean, in terms of allowing the 8th most paint points, second highest 2-point percentage. And now you face Giannis, who, Doc said he's going to be good to go here on the back-to-back. We correctly predicted that he just sat out the one game, and he played against Utah, and he just got that 30 to get our parlay home. But only had to play 30 minutes against Utah. But what you saw even before that was Giannis just being like, okay, I have to do more here. We're kind of a skeleton crew. Chris Middleton not coming back. Our defense is not very good. So I just have to play like my hair's on fire. And I mean, he's been pretty good against Cat when he's had Rudy Gobert with him on the Wolves. So, I mean, obviously Giannis produces against anybody. He produces in the Garden. And it's just a tough matchup on both ends, right? Because Jalen Brunson is going to eat up Dame. He did last year, 37 points per game on a 125 rating. That's why these games averaged 241, 5 meetings last year, right? The Bucks, their defense is quite vulnerable, but their offense, it comes and goes. I guess it's somewhat 3-point dependent. But with Giannis out there, like putting pressure on this Knicks defense, I think they'll be all right on back-to-back. They did score 120 on back-to-backs last year with him leading that way. And even if they don't, like maybe let's say they only get to like 108 and it's another like, okay, Bucks still don't have it. This Knicks team could score 120 plus. Like they ain't no joke. They have a 120 plus offensive rating in every game except when they play Houston and Cleveland this year. And that includes the Celtics to open, right? So, I mean, their offense is quite impressive at the moment. And yeah, I mean, when you have a Dame Lillard at the point of attack at the other defense, it's not too hard to get going.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. I mean, anything you want to get against this Bucks defense, it's so bad right now. I do expect Brunson to eat in this one, but to the point you're making, there ain't rim protection. And there really ain't even the same level of defensive rebounding right now because OG Anunoby's not that good of a rebounder, especially not playing the 4, right? Like he's going to be in this game. And guess who's the 4 on the other side of the court? It's Giannis Antetokounmpo. So he's going to be attacking. I think the pace stays high to your point, and neither team is necessarily going to be able to stop what the other one wants to do that well, although I will take the Knicks at the end of the game, and I'm not even afraid of a spread. Maybe you see it as a get-right situation for Milwaukee, and I do expect them to score, which they're going to have to do to beat this Knicks team, but I'm still not confident in the Bucks just yet as far as winning basketball games, that's for sure. But let's go over to my first look here, and I'm going to that Lake Show game, Nate, and I'm talking about the Lakers scoring. I don't know if the 76ers are going to come along. We all know that Tyrese Maxey is now out for the foreseeable future. And this Philly team, hopefully you took under 50.5 wins on this Philly team right now as they're in trouble, obviously not getting Embiid back just yet. So they don't have any rim protection. That's a problem against Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Even Rui's been driving to the rim. We know what they're doing. They're going to see maybe a little bit more Jackson Hayes as well. So there's going to be a lot of guys flying at the rim. And this team for Philly does not touch the rim. So I don't know if I mentioned it's 114.5 for the team total. Obviously, you guys can see that on the screen, but the Lakers are averaging a couple more points per game than that. And at home, really nice splits there. 121 early in the season. Take it with a grain of salt, but we'll look at 121 points per game at home and go, okay, all right, we can work with that to get to 115 in this one. Philly, awful defense, third worst defensive rating right now. They don't have an identity. I mean, their identity was Tyrese Maxey, score as many points as you can, and we'll try to fend off this team to keep them from getting 115. And it has not worked. As they have that third worst defensive rating. They're a turnstile inside the paint and at the rim. Third most free throw attempts allowed, and the Lakers have the second highest free throw attempt rate. It's been their calling card for success since LeBron and AD teamed up in LA, is own the paint on both sides of the court. And the defense hasn't come around quite as much for the Lakers yet this year. But AD being in is obviously very helpful there. And they're fifth in rim frequency. The Philly is limiting shots inside 5 feet, 28th in terms of their rim field goal percentage. The Lakers getting into the paint and getting anything they want. So we'll see if PG is in full swing. I do think he's a little bit better than we might think at this point. Like he did play 32 minutes and only played against Phoenix in his first game, had a fine game, been very efficient, just hasn't had the volume yet and doesn't have a choice now. It's like him, Tsunami Poppy, maybe some Caleb Martin. We're going to see plenty of Big Booty Lowry. Like it's going to be all hands on deck for this team. And I think Paul George will take over on the offense. I don't know if he's going to hit his shots or not, so I don't really want to take them to come along, but I'll take the Lakers to keep scoring a ton of points at home.
Yeah, and I think you can script out kind of how the Lakers are going to score in terms of Anthony Davis, right? I mean, after LeBron puts on his biggest usage rate game that we'll probably see this side of Christmas, AD now coming back after the one game, so definitely like him to score. I mean, I'll just say I had 25 plus and a money line parlay. In props is a very good look here. I mean, I don't think the Sixers can win. You can paint a different kind of script where Paul George does, kind of enter the season in a big way. But I mean, if you want to do that, you can get plus money on his assists, 5 assists. You can get plus money on him to hit 4 threes, I believe. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the Sixers are going to need everything he can give them. After he only played 24 minutes against the Clippers, much tougher defensive matchup. They're obviously familiar there. And the Lakers, not very strong on the wing in terms of defending small forwards. So like PG and AD there and like points. So I agree with you there. I'm going to take the Hawks money line in Detroit here. It's about even money. It's plus one. Yeah, I know, but we're a little scarred from past Hawks team that just could not win 2 games in a row, no matter what, and certainly weren't going to bring it on the road. But I think that's trumped by the fact that Jalen Duren is out for Detroit and leads the team in win shares right now. I mean, his numbers might not be eye popping, but like that is a very big deal. They are now going to struggle with this athletic combo that the Hawks have pulled out now that Risa Shea has entered the NBA. Welcome to the NBA. Yeah, scoring all over the Knicks. So now you basically have like twin body type doubles in Jalen Johnson and Risa Shea. And then you have this ball hawking defender in Dyson Daniels, who they can either throw at Cade or Jaden Ivey or mix it up. And they're 4-1 with Dyson Daniels active if you just ignore the fact that they lost badly to OKC in Boston, because of course they did. But Dyson Daniels, big factor on that end, and they were able to beat the Knicks even though he shot 3 for 16. And maybe just shoot less, bud. But I mean, they shouldn't have much problem scoring on Detroit. They're dead. Detroit is dead last in forcing turnovers. Trey has absolutely eviscerated this defense. New coach in there, but I mean, 146 offensive rating for Trae Young, 31.5, 11.5, plus 83. That's his last 5 games against Detroit. Atlanta's won 7 straight against Detroit, 3 straight in Detroit. Oh, and by the way, without Duren, they lost 29 straight last year before they finally got a win in game 81 against the Mavs bench. This Hawks defense, I think it will dare Detroit to shoot threes. That's what they've been doing, packing it in, limiting paint points, assists. And Detroit, thankfully for them, is shooting 29% from 3 in their last 4. That's negative 15% true shooting relative to the NBA for the season from these Pistons. So I don't think there's much to worry about on that end, and I think they will be able to score plenty on the other
Yep.
end.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's actually funny. Even the Hawks announcers have messed up Reese Shea and Jalen Johnson. Like same body type, same athleticism. Number 1, number 10 for Reese Shea. Like they're doing some really good impersonations of each other. Jalen Johnson's taken another leap for sure. His stuff has skyrocketed. We slammed that bet last time. They had his rebounds at 7.5. He got double that. We took rebounds and assists over 11.5. He got 15 boards. So Jalen Johnson's stuff has now climbed to insurmountable heights, but you might still be able to get some value on the rebounds for him. We've still got DeAndre Hunter out for Atlanta, which has only meant more Reese Shea and more Jalen Johnson playing awesome. And I say, God love you, DeAndre. You can't stay on the court. He's got to go, man. Like, go get a piece for him outside of him because you got what you need right now in Reese Shea and Jalen Johnson in that front court. I came to make this bet and have a bunch of notes for it as well before I saw that you were making it, and I'm fully with it. You can take the money line. It's only a 1.5 point spread as well. And I trust this Hawks team right now with, especially like you said, with Dyson Daniels in there. Shout out the kid. Yeah, I mean, what's not to like about Trae Young surrounded by the best wing defense and sort of core of athleticism that he's ever had? Like, he's not even playing that well. And they're still at least winning enough games. So I'm fully with this. Detroit's still a year away, maybe from being a year away, but without Jalen Duren, man, that's going to be a problem. So that's a huge part of this bet as well, with feeling so comfortable with it. Let's go ahead and get one of these SGPs in here, Nate, for our best bets. Let's talk about a couple guys who recently faced off and had a pretty good finals. We got Jason Tatum, got Luka Doncic. They're not playing each other, but they're in very good situations. So Luka is playing Booker. I'm going to take him for 30 plus points because death taxes and Luka scoring on the Suns. And then I'm going to take Tatum 25 plus, and I still get plus 119 on FanDuel. Obviously, if you go to 30 for Tatum, which is his core prop, you can get that up to about plus 225 or so. I'm happy to take the 25 points for Tatum in this one, but starting with Book. I am starting with Booker because I'm talking about Luka. 30 plus points for Luka. He's had 33 plus in his last 7 games versus the Suns, and one of those there's been 8 games in there, but he got hurt for one, only played 3 minutes. Came out, so we don't count that, right? Seven games that he's actually played, 33 plus, averaging 38 a game in those 7, 50% from the field, 39% from deep. And he loves it, man. We know that about him at this point, but it's also a matchup thing to the extent that Phoenix still very bad, like they were last season, at limiting stuff above the break, limiting pick and rolls. They're not good at that. Nurkic has no choice but to play drop defense with his sort of level of fleetness, if you will. So they're just never been good at it. Tyus Jones, kind of looking at you too, man. Like, haven't really brought it on defense. Undersized point guard who has been great for their facilitation on offense and has not been good for their defense this year or other years. We'll be looking at Royce O'Neal guarding him. So what has he done against Royce O'Neal in the last 4 times that he guarded him? 2 of those were with the Suns. 2 of those were with the Nets. He scored 41 a game in those 4, where Royce was the primary defender for the majority of the game, 53% from the field, 49% from deep. If you wanted to add Luka 3 plus 3s, he ain't getting 30 points without 3 plus 3s. I'll say that. You can add that and juice it up just a tiny bit. Not going to help you too much because it's so heavily correlated with his points, and his prop is at 3.5, but still gets you to closer to 300 if you, or plus 220 with the bets I'm putting out here right now. But for Tatum, 25 is easy for him. His prop is at 29.5. If you want, like I said, I put it out there. You get almost double the juice if you take him for 5 more points than that. And I still think he's very, very capable of it in this game. But at the same time, like I do think the Nets are going to stick around. And at the same time, I think the Nets are going to stick around more than 13.5 points, enough to make it that Tatum is going to be out there. I mean, he's the primary dude. JB is out again. We got no Jalen Brunson. I liked originally potentially getting under the assist for Tatum at 6.5, and then those got bumped down immediately, and I didn't play that in time. It's at 5.5 now because 6.5 is too much. But without JB, he's still, the assists aren't quite there. He went under very consistently, but the points are there. He's still looking at about 27 points per game, gone 30 plus last year in 5 of the 10 without JB. This year, he's at 25 plus points in every single game except for one. And I feel pretty confident in his ability to score against the wings here for the for the Nets. DFS will probably be getting some time on him, but and obviously some Simmons now that he's back as well, but he's still capped at about 24 minutes. So there's no matchup for Tatum. He's on an MVP chase right now. He's going bonkers, and I do like him to be able to take this team in ISO.
Wrong, JB, right? You said Jalen Brunson, but
Oh, my bad.
Jalen Brown, yes, is out for the Celtics, and that is a big deal as well. Yeah, I mean, I like the Tatum points because I was leaning towards Nets plus 13. as
Yeah.
another pick here. They did lose by 50 their last trip to Boston in February, and that's that can swing the other way. That was a completely different team in terms of the
Yeah.
identity. They're playing well now. Schroeder got that dog in him, got the dog in everybody else on the team, it appears, and running people off the 3-point line, which is what's key for this bet, right? Because the Celtics, if they're not able to hoist their 53s, they're going to have to get something going inside the arc, and Tatum is the guy to do that. Looking at it too, Peyton Pritchard, you can get minus 120 for him to hit under 4 threes. I mean, I don't know if you want to bet against this guy at this point, but the Nets would be kind of the team to be like, yeah, we're not letting we're chasing him off the line. Like, we're not letting this little dude beat us, and to actually take it seriously, especially after they got smacked so many times by the Celtics last year.
The only thing keeping me from feeling good about that is I would have said the same thing about Peyton Pritchard versus the Golden State Warriors, and he still went for 16 in that one. So my man's packing this year, feeling pretty good. I got him 10-1, sixth man of the year, and I got to the table late on that one because some people were hitting him at like 50-1, and he's still a good look. So is Miles McBride. Maybe we'll mention him in player props, but that's all the time we have for you guys today. Make sure to go ahead and subscribe to that page so you don't miss this best bets or the player props videos. We're bringing you each and every weekday moving forward. And until we see you next, happy betting.